Bob, would you like to add to that as well? Because aside from independence and looking at governance structures, which has been talked about a lot tonight, there's also been the issue raised several times about the lack of science regarding WADA's own system. There's no science, there's been no analysis as to how good or bad the system is. I think we know the answer to that, but they don't even let you analyse the information they have. They don't even provide the science for what goes on to the banned list. Can you just add to that and how you see any sort of going forward and improving the situation, what needs to happen there?
Yeah, I think it's probably fair to say that a lot of the substances that are on the ban list were put on there through perception rather than any true, real, validated science. Now, I've been in the science field for 45 years, as Tracey said, and I find it insulting that people grab pieces of science, I call them Google biochemists. They look it up on the internet and all of a sudden they're an expert. And I've researched this for 4 years. From the blackest day till today, I've researched it. I've looked at every possible source of information about all the substances. And in the end, it just came down to TB4. Now, TB4 has no clinical evidence of any benefit to anybody with any sort of problem. There is no clinical evidence anywhere that would support that it's performance enhancing. If you look on the internet and you put in TB4, it'll give you the first 5 pages will be ads from people wanting you to buy TB4. And it'll tell you that it builds lean muscle, that it stops cramp, that it reduces stomach ulcers, that it reduces inflammation, that it makes your hair grow. All these wonderful things. There is not one skerrick of clinical data that supports all these claims, yet they're able to do it. And people can buy it on the internet and they can inject it to their heart's content if they want to. And I have a real problem with it, and I mean, I feel sorry for Maria Sharapova. What a complete farce the meldonium thing was. That you've got the world's most eminent scientists, doctors, who spend 1 year analysing new drugs or new compounds or new substances that are on them, that are out there in athlete's land, for want of a better word. And they did all their due diligence. They got all their scientific experts. They spent 1 year going through it all. And at the end of the day, they said, we're going to put it on the 1st of January 2016. And what happened? 228 athletes tested positive in the first month. 200, more than 200. And suddenly they realised they hadn't even taken into account what they call the pharmacokinetic data, which is all the data in relation to dosage and how long it stays in the body, which is more important. It emerged that meldonium injected on the 31st of December 2015 would have still been in the body of some athletes in September 2016, 9 months afterwards. So they had this flood of all these positive tests for meldonium. So what did they do? They did a sliding scale that said that if you had a certain dosage on a certain day and you were tested in March, then the fall off in the amount in your body would have been this amount. So if you fell inside that range, you were okay. Or you fell outside the range, you were guilty. Never any admittance that there was a problem with the science. Now, if scientists and doctors or medical scientists, which I am, make those sort of mistakes in their everyday job, people die. If we get the dosage wrong, or we get the manufacturing wrong, or we get the research wrong, the people that suffer are the patients. And that really irks me. It really makes me angry that people like that well-known Google biochemist, Ben McDevitt, who makes claims about, and he's flip-flopped between TB4 and thymomodulin. TB4 and thymosin. They are distinctly different molecules. They are different. And he should take notice of his own science and results manager, Dr. Stephen Watt, who is a scientist. And he sent an email to his counterpart in Montreal. And he asked the question, have you considered the prohibitive status of thymomodulin, also known as thymosin? That's straight from the mouth of the science expert at ASADA. But Ben wants to flip-flop. You know, and I have a real problem with the ASADA investigators telling Paddy Ryder and Mark McVeigh that the substances they're taking are going to affect their unborn children. These are ex-policemen making medical science statements about the danger of these substances they've been taking. That's a long answer to the question, but it's not something that sits well with me, I can tell you. I'll talk about some of them in my closing remarks.
I'll give Alan the microphone. He's got a question.
Okay.